I know you have stepped into real estate more recently and spending your time there. I mean, before we even jump into that, I know you had mentioned, bringing in, if I'm correct, about $40,000 a month for this business, and that's kind of I would assume maybe the gross profit. What's the decision making behind stepping into a new industry versus just continuing what you've already got? This proven system, this model. Is it just the margins on there are not what you see, and for what your time could be getting elsewhere, or can you tell me the decision making behind switching things up and comparing the two?
No, that's a great question. Part of it is that it is so rigorous to go out and almost every month be like, I have to get all my inventory for the next month. And, not that I think there's any fragility in the market. Facebook's investing a lot into marketplace and the algorithm and things like that. I think there's a lot of strength and a lot of demand, and there will be a lot of continued demand for used furniture for a handful of reasons. But it was the rhythm of the business. It's a great business, and it's couches don't appreciate, and then when I could see that, I could sort of step into something that's a little more longer term, that's a solid asset class, not something that's kind of on the fringes of, just being something that you do to make income versus, a legitimate asset class with appreciation, investors and, historical data. When I could look at those returns and pretty much predict where it's going to be at in the next 10 years, with furniture, I mean, a big issue that we have is sometimes our profiles will get blocked, and then we can't sell things. That's cost us $15,000 one month because all of our accounts got blocked. We couldn't sell anything. I was like, what if for whatever reason something in the marketplace changes and you can't do this, and then you've got all this infrastructure, and it's like, for the way that the business is built right now, is we are solely dependent on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
and it's not a bad thing unless things change. And it was just a combination of seeing the returns in real estate, seeing the rhythm of real estate, and how you can really lean into it, and it pays off. That being the main basis of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason I chose it as well, and a lot of it is that of the asset class you're working in, the appreciation, the long-term look at this business that you can be building. Not that what you've built isn't going to be around for a while, because I'm confident it will be, as like you're saying, Facebook seems to be putting in more and more emphasis and money on their marketplace, and that's the central spot for used products across the country. But there is definitely something to building up real estate and getting into that full time, which I can understand. I did want to ask, do you feel like for you, building a business, finding good deals comes naturally? Do you feel like that's something you've had to grow quite a bit as you got into it?
I feel like I didn't even realize that I was training to, deeply understand supply and demand and move into business when I started selling wood slices. But looking back, it's like I was, not only doing wood slices, but it was computers, tables, mirrors, freezers, anything I could get my hands on, and just seeing how it performs, and kind of slowly starting to build that business philosophy without even realizing it. And now it's kind of what I crave to do, to be honest. I crave the systems, I crave the efficiency, I crave finding the perfect person for the role, and watching them just all of their strengths be brought out. And so I would say it was a big learning curve, and I've done a lot of things the wrong way to start out with, but it's just, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I have so much fun doing what I do.
Yeah. And I know a lot of, especially younger people getting into business, or people in general, they have a little bit of this analysis paralysis. They can tend to over-educate and just look at all of the, potential risks, all of the things that could happen if I jumped into this. What's this going to be like, without taking the necessary actions just to do some deals to make things happen. What do you think was different on your end? Because it seems like you tested something, it worked, and you just went again and again and again. Do you take a step back and, get worried sometimes about, hey, we've got a lot of inventory. What if this doesn't work? Or, question yourself along the way, or was it just one step in front of the other and seeing that it's been working?
I would say that Couches was a relatively forgiving beginning. But as far as being a risk taker, I think some people would see me as a risk taker, but I don't do anything without looking at the data. I love data. That's like the first thing I go to before making any decision, and then from there I optimize. And I wouldn't find the peace in taking on big risks unless I've looked deeply and understand the data.